color her gold. Gold. It enhances her beauty like nothing else. Richly fashioned gold adornments say the beautiful things about her she loves to hear. So color her beautiful. Color her gold. Precious things from Tim's Jewelry, West Park Mall, Cape Girardeau.
Meteorologist Don McNeely, Bob Reeves, and Brian Allworth. KFVS 12 Storm Team.
Another, oh, what a beautiful day here in the Heartland, Don.
Yeah, but the rain is going to spoil our beautiful evening, I'm afraid. It is moving in rapidly as we look at storm team radar. It's moving swiftly to the east at over 30 miles an hour. Light rain reported through much of southeast Missouri, already into West Tennessee, and soon to be in Kentucky and Illinois, as you can see, as much of the area expects some rain tonight and tomorrow. Unfortunately, the big travel day for Thanksgiving. Our morning low today, 37. High this afternoon hit 50. We're now down to 40 degrees. Winds are out of the east at 8 knots. Humidity up to 68%, and the barometer 29 and 97 and falling. We are mostly cloudy with the rain already moving into much of Cape County. No recorded rainfall as yet. The sun up tomorrow 6:42, but it'll be hidden by the clouds. Sunset tomorrow evening 4:43. Temperatures still chilly out there tonight. The coolest spot Bunker 35, 39 Paducah, and at Carbondale 37 at Heron, 40 at Perryville, with 43 at both Poplar Bluff and Charleston. Here's the satellite picture, and we can see this mass of clouds circulating up from Texas into Arkansas and into the heartland tonight, while these clouds up over the lakes in New England are moving in an easterly direction as well. We've got an upper air low developing over the southwest, coupled with a warm front, coupled with a cold front being led by a low over the Dakotas. All these going to converge over the Mississippi and Ohio valleys in the next 24 to 36 hours, conspiring to make it a rather wet and even snowy Thanksgiving travel day. Not snow for us, but this band of snow to the north will spread over the northeast tomorrow and on Thanksgiving Day. In fact, a snow advisory for 4 to 6 inches of snow out tonight from the North Dakota through Minnesota and Wisconsin and Michigan. And over in the northeast, they had heavy snow overnight, almost a blizzard in Maine, 17 inches at South Lincoln, Vermont, and a foot of snow at Farmington, Maine. And the hurricane-force winds are still blowing up over northern Maine, causing big snow drifts. High in Albany, New York today, 28 degrees, the same high in Milwaukee, while it was a 78 down at Orlando and Tampa, Florida. The jet stream pretty well assuring that the northeastern half of the country will have a chilly Thanksgiving weekend, while the southwest is going to stay nice and mild and sunny for the most part. Looking at the heartland this evening, we had a high of 34 at Chicago, 56 at Little Rock, 48 at Kansas City. And here's the overrunning across this warm front that is beginning to produce the rain in our area. Tomorrow, that rain will move slowly eastward along this trough. Thunderstorms down in Dixie. Snow moving through the Great Lakes, northern Appalachians, over into southern New England by tomorrow and tomorrow evening. May have a Thanksgiving Day snowstorm up in the northeast. For us, though, just a wet day tomorrow, and Thanksgiving should be dry. Overnight, the lows a wide range from single digits to the 60s. We'll be in the 30s to low 40s for the low, and we'll have a high tomorrow in the 40s to maybe just a tad above 50 degrees, but a tremendous range from the teens in the north to the 80s down south. Our forecast then, cloudy, rainy, and cool overnight, low of 36 to 43. Tomorrow, cloudy and cool with light rain, high of
There's a feeling in the air that you can't get anywhere but America's heartland.
I've tasted 1,000 yesterdays,
And I love the magic ways of America's heartland.
Working hard at what you do.
The spirit shows in you.
each time you touch the sky.
From where the rivers flow,
Where the sunsets go.
We're all good neighbors passing by.
Makes no difference where I go.
You're the best place that I know.
Hello, America, America's home.
Kentucky, Illinois, Tennessee, Missouri, and around the world. Ron Beaton, Luann Knight, Paul Brown, meteorologist Cal Sisto, and the Newsbeat team. This is Newsbeat Tonight.
Good evening. One officer said he was loaded for war. A gunman.
Now look at the regional weather for the lower Ohio Valley in Tennessee. High pressure will continue to dominate the region Monday. Meanwhile, a stationary front will slowly sag south from the Great Lakes toward the northern sections of Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio by Monday evening. This will give northern Kentucky a chance of widely scattered thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, while areas north of the Ohio River will also have a chance of
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to AM Weather. I'm Carl Weiss.
And good morning, I'm Wayne Winston. This past weekend, we've seen some fast-moving weather systems. That means quite changeable weather. Let's go over to this morning's national map. We'll start in the eastern part of the country. You see there's a cold front off the east coast. As that moved from the Midwest to the east over the course of the weekend, brought some rain and some severe outbreaks of weather across the southern states with some locally heavy rain, some hail and gusty winds. Now this morning, high pressure, generally clear skies, although over the northeast you do find some clouds and some patches of very light snow being reported this morning around Watertown, Syracuse, and Batavia. Generally clear as you head southward, although over parts of Texas, some low clouds, fog along the coast, and even a few isolated thunderstorms in the central part of the state with an upper level disturbance. Now farther to the north, some stronger thunderstorms have been reported across parts of Iowa and Missouri this morning. Last report at 5 a.m. local time, Waterloo had a heavy thunderstorm, along with strong south and southwesterly winds ahead of this system, which is sitting out in the western plains. Wind gusts as high as 40 miles per hour in upper Michigan, bringing some blowing snow to Hancock, gusts of 48 in Joplin, Missouri, along with very warm early morning temperatures. It's in the mid-60s across Missouri and eastern Kansas. But immediately behind this front, it's turning colder. You have 60s in the eastern part of the state, mid-30s out in northwestern Kansas. Of course, very strong winds out here as well. Now, it's going to be turning sharply colder in an area which saw record high temperatures yesterday afternoon. Denver, Colorado Springs, Scottsbluff had a temperature of 82 degrees yesterday afternoon, 87 at Pierce, South Dakota. It's going to be quite a change today. They have been reporting near blizzard condition parts of northern Montana and Alberta with this low pressure area creating strong winds and blowing around the snow that's still on the ground up there. And yesterday over the western part of the country is a windy day with blowing dust across portions of southern Idaho into California. Hot in the southwest, upper 80s in Phoenix and Buckeye, Arizona, 103 degrees in Palm Springs, California yesterday afternoon. Early this morning, one of the colder readings of Yellowstone Park, Montana, they're right around the 0 mark. That is a look at our national map for this morning. Carl, on satellites, not our usual motion, but we still get a look at plenty of weather activity out in the central part of the country.
We will focus in on the thunderstorms over the plain states in just a little while, but we'll start things off with a full disk image of the northern hemisphere. And this picture was taken at 3:30 this morning. That's Eastern Standard Time. We see the north-south band of clouds off the eastern seaboard. This is the frontal system that brought the heavy thunderstorms and the severe weather from the New England states down through the Carolinas. This is already several hundred miles out to sea. And farther to the east, over the North Atlantic, a huge swirl in the atmosphere, a big storm system approaching portions of England. And further to the west, clear skies up and down the eastern seaboard. And here are those clusters of thunderstorms that Wayne mentioned from Iowa southward into Texas. Some big thunderstorms over the rainforests of Brazil, and more stretching westward out into the Pacific Ocean. Now we have a close-up view of the central part of the United States taken at 4 o'clock this morning, Eastern Standard Time, and looking at some of those big thunderstorms over northeastern sections of Iowa and more trailing southwestward into Kansas, and a few more with an upper-level low over northern parts of Texas. Fair skies over the east, and this dark area over central and south Florida is not cloud cover, but rather moisture in the atmosphere acting as a blanket and trapping those warmer temperatures. Scattered areas of clouds with snow up through the northern plain states and scattered clouds generally through the Rockies. Next up, we'll take a look at a western picture taken at 1 o'clock this morning, Western time. We have fair skies up and down the west coast. A few more clouds over the Rockies, especially over northern Montana, where Wayne told us about the near blizzard-like weather there. A new frontal system will be moving into the Pacific Northwest later on during the day on Monday, bringing more rain to western parts of Oregon and Washington. Looking now at our very latest enhanced satellite picture taken at 6 o'clock this morning, Eastern Standard Time. We do see the clear skies up and down the east coast. Showers and thunderstorms now moving through the mid-Mississippi Valley, and some of those thunderstorms have weakened across northern parts of Texas. Fair skies covering the Gulf coastal states, and fair skies and warm temperatures throughout much of the deserts of the southwest. Looking now at our very latest radar chart, what we find is a mixture of rain and snow over the northeast with tops to as high as 7,000 feet, and showers and thunderstorms generally from the northern plains southward into Texas. Highest tops up to 45,000 feet over eastern parts of Iowa, and more showers and thunderstorms southward into Texas, 40,000-foot tops near Abilene, and up to 30,000-foot tops of some of the showers and thunderstorms over the Rio Grande Valley. Wayne?
Next, we'll check the high temperatures for this afternoon. It's going to be another warm day, well into the 60s for Chicago and Washington, 70s to around 80 for St. Louis and Memphis, with the colder temperatures moving into the northern plains and into the central Rockies. Low temperatures early tomorrow morning will be in the teens and 20s, and locally colder in some of the valleys out through the Intermountain region. Those colder temperatures extending into the shores of the northern Great Lakes, but still plenty of mild air from the Midwest to the southern plains. The forecast map for later today, we see generally dry weather for the eastern third of the country. Showers and thunderstorms over the south central states. Showers and rain as you head northward across the upper Mississippi Valley into the upper Great Lakes. We still have some snow around Lake Winnipeg, southward into Montana. More snow from the Nebraska Panhandle and southward into the mountains of northern Arizona. Continuing dry weather and very warm conditions in the southwest. Now, tomorrow morning's map shows more dry weather for the eastern part of the country. Early morning showers and thunderstorms from Texas to Missouri. Rain continuing northward to the shores of Lake Superior. Generally, most of the snow will be north of the border, although we'll still see some wet snow tomorrow morning from northwest Kansas into northeastern parts of New Mexico. Another Pacific front moving into the northwest corner of the country. Snow in the Cascades, rain along the coast. Now we look at the map for Wednesday morning. That front weakens. Just a few snow showers in Montana, perhaps a few in the mountains of New Mexico. But early on Wednesday morning, rain and showers for the lower Mississippi Valley, northward through the Ohio Valley, continuing into southeastern Canada. Again, most of the snow north of the border. Carl?
Next up, we will be highlighting precipitation, that which we expect for the upcoming 24 hours and also for the upcoming 5 days. First of all, looking at the next 24 hours, by early on Tuesday, generally a quarter of an inch or more from Lake Superior southward into West Texas, and 2 to 3 inches not out of the question over central Oklahoma into north central Texas, a half inch running northward into southern lower Michigan. And the next front should spread about a quarter of an inch of rain or snow into northwestern Washington. Now looking at the upcoming 5 days, which will take us right through this coming Friday, it should be a wet period from the western Great Lakes down the Mississippi Valley to the Gulf of Mexico and also over the northern Rockies and interior northwest. Dry weather should hug the southeast coastal states and also portions of southwestern Oregon, and there should be no rain at all in the forecast for most of California into southwestern Arizona. Wayne?
Next, the flying weather, and for the pilots, visual flight rules prevail in most areas, the low ceilings and visibilities in a few rather limited areas. Let's look at the map, and we find there's some fog and low ceilings over Texas. Some patchy fogs have been reported in Florida as well. We have some of the clouds, low cloud ceilings over the eastern lakes, and of course, as you get up into the northern Rockies and southward from there. Now, there will be some occasional moderate rime or mixed icing. The spotty areas of precipitation as high as 9,000 feet over the New England states. Let's look at the turbulence now. Moderate to 18,000 feet over the western third of the country, and that will be locally severe over the mountains of southern California. Moderate to 10,000 as you head out into the plains with some of those stronger thunderstorms. Iowa and Missouri, locally severe to 45,000 this morning. And over the New England states, the Maritimes, occasional moderate as high as 30,000. Now on the map for later today, we see low ceilings and visibilities from the upper Great Lakes, the upper Mississippi Valley, out into the central plains of the east slopes of the Colorado Rockies, VFR for the east and the western states. Turbulence for later today, again over the western third of the country, moderate to 18,000. Northern plains, moderate to 10,000, but then as you head southward from Missouri, eastern Kansas, and southward, Heavy showers and thunderstorms, a locally severe convective turbulence to 45,000 feet. Now it's time for winds aloft. Carl has them beginning at 2,000 feet above ground level.
We find one area of low pressure over the St. Lawrence Valley and a second trough from the northern plains into the southwest and a strong cell of high pressure over the southeast. Strong northerly winds along the California coast, speeds there 25 to 50 knots. Another broad band of winds northward through the plain states and off the Atlantic seaboard with speeds also 25 to 50 knots. Heading on up to 10,000 feet, pretty much the same flow pattern, now light and variable winds covering much of Georgia and Florida. Strongest winds over the far west, northern plains, and most of the eastern half of the United States. On up to 18,000 feet we go, and surrounding the low-pressure trough over the northern Rockies, we have wind speeds of 50 to 100 knots, as indicated by the orange shading, and also from the southern lakes to the mid-Atlantic coast, northwest winds also right around 50 knots. And finally, up at 34,000 feet, we find the jet stream wrapping around the low-pressure system in the far west. Wind speeds in the orange shading once again, 50 to 100 knots, but the strongest winds found over central Washington and central Oregon. Those northerly winds are right around 100 knots. Coming up next is Weather Watch, and for the full story, let's get back over to Wayne.
We begin along the Maine-New Hampshire coast, where there is a small craft advisory for northwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots and 4 to 8 foot waves. In Minnesota, there is a weather advisory for the northern portion of the state for a mixture of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow today. Moving southward in Florida, there are morning fog advisories over the central and western parts of the state. Now moving to the central plains, we have a moderate risk of severe thunderstorms through tonight from southwestern Oklahoma into northwestern Texas. The slight risk area extends from southeastern Kansas to the southwest Texas plains. In northwest Kansas, there is a winter storm watch for tonight and early Tuesday. Those winter storm watches extended in northeastern Colorado and along the Front Range all the way to the southern foothills. Lake wind advisories for area boaters cover most of Missouri southward to Texas and westward into much of New Mexico. Along the Texas coast, there is a small craft advisory for south to southeasterly winds 20 to 25 knots with 5 to 8 foot waves. Now moving into the northern Rockies and Montana.
It's hotter than parts of the desert.
And it's more humid, which makes it even more unbearable.
It's not the hottest temperature in the country, but it's close, at 102 in
Okay,
Westfield.
let's pause for your local weather right now.
Here's to the winners. Lift up the glasses. Here's to the glory still to be. Here's to the battle, whatever it's for, to ask the best of ourselves, then give much more. To the hero.
Let's look at the areas where heavy and severe weather is to be expected, and some possible local flooding now from the eastern parts of Nebraska and Kansas back through Iowa, northern Missouri, northern Illinois, southern part of Wisconsin, back over northern Indiana, and just catching a corner of the western part of Michigan. That's the way those things look. That's until 2 a.m. Severe alert for thunderstorms in that same general area with an extension for isolated biggies back down into New Mexico and covering most all of the entire southeastern part of the United States. Now it is time for the contest.
We have our winner. Our contest winner is Yvonne Smiley of Albany, Georgia, who knew that the current temperature in Chicago that we showed in the map was 78.
Okay, well, she is the winner of the sprinkler spray right in the ground sprinkler system that's designed to make watering a pleasure. Spray right is inexpensive, easy to install just by connecting to a water faucet, and is furnished by Spray Right. And our congratulations.
Tell you what, let's go out to the update desk to Andre Bernier.
Coming up in the next half hour, Vince and Charlie, we have a Talk to the Weather Channel segment. And in this Talk to the Weather Channel segment, we're going to be speaking to a forecaster in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, who will be telling us all about the problems they've been having with a crop so far this year. As far as too much moisture is concerned, about 2 years ago, if you recall, it was just a little too dry. Also, Dennis Smith will be animating a map from east to west for you, along with the latest computer temperatures, which show some pretty cool conditions in the upper Midwest. Gentlemen?
He calls us gentlemen.
They say you can fool almost anybody all the time.
I guess so. Now here's your local weather.
On eastern Iowa, as well as many of the spots which are wet. Thanks a lot for talking with us, Dave, live from Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Thank you, Andre.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All righty, and thank you for hearing from Dave Town, and we'll be giving away in this half hour a Weather Channel tote bag. All we had to know was how many times we've shown the local forecast
between now
and the time we announce the phone number.
That's right.
Oh, that's just a, wow, that's an easy one. All you have to do is watch the Weather Channel.
As long as you have a hand with 5 fingers on it, I think you'll do just fine.
There you go, 33 and a half after the hour. Time for your latest national map to be built right in front of your eyes, courtesy of our wonderful staff of meteorologists and artists. On it, look at the showers and thunderstorms still popping up, the green blob invading areas like Rocky Mountain, North Carolina. Also, heavy thunderstorms pushing out of the Philadelphia area in towards Trenton. In fact, tornado warning still in effect for Mercer County and portions of New Jersey. Also, a few showers popping up around Binghamton, New York. Wow, look at all the showers and thunderstorms this hour, showing up from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, down to Beckley, West Virginia, Louisville, Kentucky, towards Nashville, Tennessee. Also a few hefty thunderstorms around Decatur, Alabama. More thunderstorms across Louisiana, all through the Gulf Coast region, and even more popping up with a weak little trough line, showing up in areas of Arkansas, southeastern portions of Texas, around the Farmington area of New Mexico, also around Douglas, Arizona. More showers and thunderstorms popping up around Las Vegas, Nevada. But it looks like it's cool and dry up in the northern plains all the way out to the north and west. That's our latest map, all put together at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's 12 noon straight up out on the West Coast. In Seattle, latest national radar. Wow, lots of showers and thunderstorms popping up in the Ohio Valley. The yellow and red represents where some of the heavier storms may be occurring. That's showing up in the Ohio Valley area, down along the Gulf Coast, and also we're picking out a few heavy thunderstorms in New Jersey. Let's take a tour around the nation, local radar-wise. First of all, PIT represents the National Weather Service out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A few showers and thunderstorms now east of the Erie area, also just south of Buffalo, and also we can see some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms developing all the way from around Beckley, West Virginia, stretching on over towards the Charleston, West Virginia area. A few more rain showers around the Lake Erie area. Toledo stretching on up towards Cleveland, and a few more rain showers showing up in the center portion of the state around the Phillipsburg area. These are all drifting towards the north and east at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Moderate to occasional heavy rains can be expected in some of the storms. Now let's go to the situation out of Atlantic City, New Jersey, representing that very heavy cell that's now crossing over from Pennsylvania, moving on into the New Jersey area. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for Burlington and Ocean counties. Also, we can see a closer view of what's going on in that area around the Philadelphia area. PHL representing that real bright red cell that's crossing on over, and in fact tornadic activity has been reported, and it now still in effect for Mercer County in New Jersey until about 3:30, or just recently expired, but still keeping a close eye on this particular cell as it crosses on over into Mercer County, New Jersey. One more to show you. This will be showing out of the area from around Lake Charles, Louisiana. More showers and thunderstorms on a widespread basis through the Gulf Coast states, including areas of eastern Texas, moving up through central portions of Louisiana, ESF, Alexandria, Louisiana, BTR representing Baton Rouge, and also boaters, if you're headed out in the Gulf, could be some gusty winds and some heavy rain. So all these are moving very slowly towards the north at about 6 miles an hour. A lot more coming up. Don't go away.
Sincerely apologize for being off the air for a short while here now. We have experienced some of the effects of this major storm that's in Georgia sliding up the East Coast, and here at the Weather Channel we've been totally out of power until the past, I would say, 15 or 20 minutes, and we are rapidly getting things back in order here, and we'd like you to stay with us today as we follow this tremendous record-setting storm as it makes its way up the eastern seaboard. Plenty of snow falling right now in Alabama. It has been snowing hard in Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama, looking at a foot of snow. They've had thunderstorms with the snow most of the night, and now early this morning more accumulation is likely. Blizzard conditions there. North side of Atlanta, Georgia, blizzard conditions there, at least 4 inches of snow and rapidly increasing. Chattanooga, Tennessee, very heavy snow. Also will approach as it was off the coast of Louisiana. Reports of wind gusts near 100 miles per hour. Winds are steady, 30 to 40 miles per hour over areas of the panhandle of Florida and Georgia. Those winds will be making their way right on up to the Carolinas and farther to the north. Let's take a look at some pictures from Atlanta, Georgia. This is it, the Weather Channel, and this was before it actually started snowing rather heavily. Whiteout conditions at times this morning. That knocked us off the air for a short while, and the snow continues to pile up. Before all said and done, right here in Atlanta, Georgia, north side of town could be looking at more than a foot of snow, just like Birmingham, Alabama, which is already over a foot of snow. So take it easy today, and don't travel if you have to, because we are experiencing blizzard conditions at times. Here's a look at the snow history. The heaviest snow has been reported now through the Appalachians, southwestern Virginia in the mountains, 1 to 1.5 feet of snow. The North Georgia mountains reporting over a foot and a half of snow.
Call 1-800-I-GO-HOJO and stay at the comfortable landmark.
Call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER, before you hit the road, and you'll be prepared for any weather Old Man Winter brings.
Do you suffer from more?
And good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Andrew here. Our hurricane, which continues to strengthen. Pressure now down to 974 millibars. The Air Force plane is out there, and that's what the pressure reading that they extrapolated down to the surface has come in to be. And think about that. The 5 a.m. advisory was 994 millibars, and now we're down to 974. So that's a 20 millibar drop in quite a short period of time, and that does indicate right there, just from pressure alone, that we have a rapid intensifying cyclone here. Winds at 75 miles an hour. This is the 5 a.m. advisory again, 25.8, 67.5 west, 625 miles to the east of Nassau, or about 800 miles to the east, southeast of Miami right now. Again, it appears from the satellite indication that we do have a strengthening hurricane, and the new advisory should be in about 10 minutes or so. So we'll get that to you as soon as we get it in. All right, here's the infrared satellite picture. And what we've done is color the tops. And the reason we've done that is because we can show you the deep convection indicated by here, the yellow and the red. Now watch what happens as we go on in time. The yellow and the red wrap all the way around the center of circulation, and when those thunderstorms just keep developing and keep developing around the center like that, that's also another indication of a strengthening storm. And look what's happened in the past couple of hours here. A very, very definitive eye, even with the infrared satellite picture here. And this is something that you really have to pay attention to, because we've got a strengthening hurricane. The forecast track takes it toward the Florida coastline within 72 to 80 hours. And that's about 2-3 days away here as we look at it. And, you know, granted, that is a long time away. It's something to watch, especially as we get up here to 75, perhaps even 100 mile an hour winds. So obviously something to watch here in time. This is the visible satellite picture. And as the sun comes up, you can get a very, very nice look at the eye. You can also see how bright these white clouds are around the center. That's what you saw with the yellow and the red on the infrared. This is the deep convection, the deep thunderstorms, indicating to us that we do have a strengthening hurricane. And it actually, if you plot where the plane is and where they are flying in the center of the eye, the thing has actually jogged more west than north in the past couple of hours. Interesting. You betcha. 75 to 85 miles away from the center. That's where we find the tropical storm winds all the way around the center and through here. So this is something that we're going to continue to look at for you and watch as it makes its way toward the Bahamas and also Florida, perhaps. It'll have to, again, it's something that we have to watch. It's still 2-3 days away, but something obviously that is developing and could become a very big concern to Florida. All right, we look at the entire Atlantic for you. Away.
All right, now let's go over one more time.
And we're looking at hurricanes off each coast. We have Lester here off Baja, California, and of course the one we're really concerned about, this is Andrew. Seems to be heading steadily for Florida at about 15 miles an hour. We haven't seen a whole lot of change in that during the day. Here are the latest particulars from the National Hurricane Center. This issued at 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, centered at 25.9 north, 70.4 west, and that is 650 miles now, just about due east of Miami. Top winds up to 100 miles an hour and moving steadily westward at 15 miles an hour. We haven't actually had a pressure just lately from reconnaissance aircraft. We should have another one pretty soon. At that time, the pressure was 974 millibars, or that is 28.76 inches. Now, the best we can see, it's going to continue a path directly toward the west. We don't know exactly where it's going to hit precisely, but certainly we're concerned about the Bahamas, and we're concerned about the central part of Florida and the southern part, and even all the way across the peninsula, as this hurricane is likely to move on across, we do believe. This is the latest satellite picture, and you can see this well-defined eye moving steadily toward the west. We watched it get better organized all day, and now it is, as you can see, a pretty powerful hurricane. We have yet another picture, and this one will give you a bit broader view. There is the eye of the hurricane, and there you see the Bahamas, Eleuthera, Andros Island there, Eleuthera up here, and the Grand Bahama and Great Abaco. And here comes the hurricane headed in that general direction at a steady 15 miles per hour. As we take a little bit of a look to see what the wind field looks like, 85 miles or so is what the tropical storm force winds extend out, and the hurricane force winds extend out about 30 or 40 miles from the center. Now, we do have some watches and some warnings to talk to you about. The government of the Bahamas has issued hurricane warnings for Eleuthera, Andros Island up to Great Abaco, and on up to Grand Bahama. And a hurricane watch is now in effect from Titusville, Florida, through the Florida Keys over to Dry Tortugas. It looks as if we've been getting hurricane force winds in the Bahamas sometime tomorrow and sometime by early Monday along the Florida coast. So all you people there want to prepare for a hurricane, and it could be a pretty powerful hurricane by the time it gets there. Already it's powerful enough, and it's been a long time since you folks in South Florida have experienced a direct hit with this kind of a hurricane.
Softball game. Good time. Raised some money for Children's Hospital yesterday, and we won the softball game, which made it even better.
That's right. That's all that counts.
That's right. Winning is everything. We did have a good time out there, and we had a nice weekend. Things are changing. We'll tell you about it up next on Channel 6 Weather.
Mike Royer's weather forecast is prepared at the National Weather Service Observation Station here at Channel 6.
What we've tried to do here at the Channel 6 Weather Center is make it more appealing to the eye, but more importantly, more practical in forecasting the weather for you, especially when it comes to severe weather. We moved our forecasting tools right here into the set so that, especially during those times, we can do a better job of forecasting the weather for you. Some of the equipment, in fact, most of it you've seen. Nexus, of course, the news and weather computer. I asked the computer to find out anything it could about Hurricane Frederick that went through a couple of years ago. It found over 5,000 articles and papers that had been written about Frederick. Tremendous for research work. Also, we have moved a state weather wire into the weather center here so that when we're working with severe weather, we will constantly have warnings and contact from the National Weather Service. Of course, the radar, always a vital part of our forecasting work here at Channel 6. You've seen also the weather scan computer. We use this many times a day, constantly giving us severe weather information, temperatures, weather information from anywhere in the United States and North America, a very valuable piece of equipment. And a vacant spot at the end is where our satellite receiver is going to go. We expect that within the next 30 days or so. It has to be modified to receive satellite pictures for us, and that is taking place now. There's one other piece of equipment that we don't have that I put in the budget, asked for it, it got turned down, and I feel badly about it, but we just don't have it, and that's a microwave oven. I thought that would be perfect. You know, if you got hungry during the national map, you could pop some soup in the microwave and it'd be ready, but they don't care about my stomach. They just want me to do the weather, and that's what we're here to do. Twice as many people are watching me do the weather right now than will watch anyone else this evening. And so we're not doing anything too drastic. We're staying with what you like, and we hope you enjoy our new Channel 6 Weather Center. Here's the guest weather slide for this evening.